Hi everyone, my name is Akinremi Bunmi. I am baffled that despite the fact Nigeria has about 78% of its total area, equivalent to 71.9 million acres, used for agriculture, which places Nigeria on the global map of top biofuel potential countries, Nigeria still faces food insecurities. This ironical occurrence of food wastage in Nigeria, despite the government's interest and investment in agriculture, is a serious issue that must be addressed with all urgency, especially now that farmers suffer defeat almost on every harvest. Post-harvest losses set to around 50%, if not more, of the food produced. Reasonable quantities of agricultural produce which could have been available for human consumption, profit-making and economic development waste away yearly due to inappropriateness in the storage process. Despite the huge financial resources which are lavished on agriculture, the length at which people suffer for food in the nation is yet beyond measure. InfoGuide Nigeria deduced that an estimated populace of 12.1 million Nigerians live in hunger when an approximated value of 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted annually. Thus, Nigeria became heavily dependent on importation of food. Now, harvesting is one of the key agricultural stages that requires farmers to manually separate bad farm produce from the good ones during or before storing, which requires a lot of manual labor. We found a way to better address this with the use of AI. Our goal is to build a robotic arm that could be used in separating bad farm produce from good ones via the use of computer vision in real time. To better demonstrate this, we built a computer vision model that could identify various farm produce like onions, peppers, grapes, bananas, and other fruits, and then separate them into their respective bands or storage places before sales. Existing solutions in this line includes robots designed to harvest lightweight fruits like apples, orange, and etc. And a robotic arm attached to a tractor which is mature enough to support heavy payloads with shock resistance at a low cost, which they call a robotic tractor. All these solutions have been helping with harvesting and picking fruits, and we are proposing a solution that can detect spoils and damaged fruits and separate them from the rest to prevent further damage. For this project, we gathered a total of 104 images of onions and peppers using a mobile phone. We took single images of a fruit with multiple samples of each to ensure diversity in the dataset. The images were manually augmented with various backgrounds, orientations, and alignments in order to enhance model generalization. For us to efficiently label the data, we used a labeling GUI called Label LMG. This generated labeled images as .xml files, which were then exported as TensorFlow records for the Object Detection API. The exported TensorFlow record data was trained on an object detection architecture called Efficient Det, which is a neural architecture for object detection. It's one of TensorFlow's object detection APIs from the various models Zoo like CenterNet, MobileNet, ResNet, and FastRCNN. Efficient Det was trained on this dataset and was able to outperform the existing architectures used like MobileNet, ResNet, MaxRCNN, and YOLO V3. So, after 5,000 training steps, the architecture was able to learn and accurately separate peppers from tomatoes, just as shown in the image here. We had an accuracy of about 85 to 90%, which implies that if this model architecture was able to identify tomatoes from onions with just about 50 samples from both fruits, then there is a high probability that it would predict perfectly on variety of produce with more data of about 100 to 200 samples. Now, since we can build a perfect object detection model, we are able to provide a solution that will help the robotic arm to identify the good produce and separate them from the damaged ones, and hence we prevent food wastage in Nigeria. Thank you for listening.